The Pyramid of Khafre is one of the most prominent Egyptian pyramids in terms of size and design. However, if you think that all pyramids follow the same geometric pattern, Khafre's pyramid presents a unique case that challenges this assumption. It features two entrances leading to corridors with an unconventional layout, raising questions about the reasons behind this design. Was it merely a modification during construction, or did it serve a security or religious purpose? In this video, we will explore the internal structure of the pyramid and analyze the motives behind this architectural difference to understand whether it was a deliberate engineering decision or a necessity imposed by construction conditions. Please subscribe to discover more secrets of ancient Egyptian civilization. When comparing Khafre's pyramid to Khufu's pyramid, it initially appears that Khafre's design is simpler, while Khufu's pyramid features intricate corridors and multiple chambers. Khafre's follows a seemingly less complex approach, or so it appears on the surface. But is this simplicity real, or does it conceal an underlying complexity? One of the most debated aspects of Khafre's design is the presence of two entrances, one positioned higher on the northern facade and the other near the base of the pyramid. This feature is uncommon in Egyptian pyramids, raising questions about its purpose. Was this part of an original architectural plan, or was one of the corridors added later? The upper entrance leads into a granite-lined passage that extends horizontally after passing a massive barrier. But here, we encounter an intriguing anomaly. Part of the floor is incomplete, as if something is missing, perhaps a stone bridge. If the goal was to facilitate the royal funerary procession, how was passage across this gap intended to occur? Additionally, the upper passage connects to the lower corridor, creating a dual pathway leading to the burial chamber. But why this connection? If the intent was to enhance security, why did the engineers leave a clear vulnerability that could be exploited to reach the chamber? Was the design meant to confuse intruders, or was there another function for these corridors that remains unknown? At the end of the horizontal corridor, we find ourselves inside the burial chamber. But surprisingly, its position is not central within the pyramid. Instead, it is shifted towards the northeastern quarter. This raises an interesting question, as Egyptian pyramid designs traditionally placed burial chambers at the core. Inside the chamber, we find a massive granite sarcophagus embedded into the floor and surrounded by enormous stone blocks. Was the sarcophagus placed first, with the chamber built around it? Or was there a specific method used to transport it inside after construction? The walls here were coated with a layer of plaster, and the ceiling consists of smooth stone beams, showcasing a high level of precision in construction. But was this the only chamber within the pyramid? In fact, there is another chamber, fully carved into the bedrock, connected to the lower corridor. This raises another question. Why was there a need for this additional chamber? Was it merely an initial attempt to create a burial space before the design was altered, or did it serve another purpose, perhaps ritualistic or storage-related? Returning to the upper entrance of Khafre's pyramid, we notice that its design differs from many other entrances in Egyptian pyramids. The floor, walls, and even the ceiling inside the passage are entirely lined with granite, reflecting a great emphasis on reinforcing durability in this part of the structure. When attempting to determine the original height of this entrance upon the pyramid's completion, there is a discrepancy among the measurements provided by researchers. Unfortunately, Petrie did not conduct a comprehensive survey to clarify where the passage floor exited onto the original casing of the pyramid, leaving some ambiguity in this regard. However, according to the studies of Maraggiolio and Rinaldi, the upper edge of the floor was approximately 11.54 meters above the base, while Perring provided a close measurement of 11.48 meters. Considering these measurements, the threshold of the entrance was likely located at approximately 12.90 meters above the base when the pyramid was complete. As we enter through this entrance, we find ourselves inside a descending passage lined with granite, ending at another granite barrier. This raises a fundamental question. What was the purpose of this entrance? In some pyramids, the descending passage leads directly to a burial chamber, but in the case of Khafre's pyramid, the upper entrance does not appear to have been the primary route used to access the funerary chamber. So, was this passage part of an integrated security system, or did it serve a role in religious and funerary rituals? Belzoni estimated the length of the descending passage at the time of its discovery to be approximately 31.83 meters, with a slope angle of 26 degrees. Later, Perring measured it and found that the distance from the entrance to the beginning of the horizontal passage was 31.95 meters, while a more recent study by Maraggiolio and Rinaldi provided a slightly lower estimate of 31.70 meters. One of the most striking features at the entrance is the large stone positioned above it, carefully placed as part of the supporting structure. It measures approximately 2.85 meters in width, 1.5 meters in height, and extends to a depth of 2.1 meters, giving it a total volume of around 9 cubic meters, equivalent to nearly 24 metric tons of solid granite. The massive scale of the blocks is not limited to this stone alone. Some of the granite ceiling blocks extend up to 3.5 meters in depth. The descending passage was also designed with its massive ceiling, resting on large granite wall blocks, which in turn were supported by a solid granite pavement. Although the walls and ceiling are entirely made of granite, their surface was not fully polished like that of the king's chamber in the Great Pyramid. In this passage, renowned Egyptologist Flinders Petrie also observed the use of plaster to correct some structural imperfections, as it was used to fill the gaps between the granite blocks. This plaster was not just a binding material, it was colored red, the same hue used in the nearby granite temple. Could this coloring have had a symbolic meaning, or was it merely a marker for a specific construction phase? As you continue through this passage, you'll notice that the fully granite-lined corridor intersects with a horizontal passage at a specific point. However, interestingly, the granite lining extends only a short distance into the horizontal passage before abruptly ending about a meter beyond the granite-blocking stone. Beyond this point, the ceiling rises, making the passage more comfortable to walk through. The passage continues in this manner for 8.61 meters before transitioning into a section carved directly into the bedrock. This area provides us with a glimpse into the construction method, as the natural rock remains an integral part of the pyramid's lower structure. However, the exact extent of its presence throughout the internal sections of the pyramid remains unclear. Upon reaching the location of the Granite Plug, we notice a shallow trench carved into the bedrock, precisely shaped to secure the plug in place. This technique demonstrates remarkable engineering precision, as the slot was prepared in advance, indicating that the plug was an integral part of the original design rather than a later addition. Beyond this point, we notice that the passage is no longer entirely constructed from stone, but instead rests directly on the bedrock, while the ceiling and walls are reinforced with masonry. This approach may have been part of an engineering strategy to reduce pressure on the ceiling, or could have served a functional purpose that has yet to be determined. As for the robbers' tunnel, it is likely that they avoided digging through solid rock and instead chose a path through the softer construction materials. Upon reaching the junction between the masonry and the bedrock, they appear to have opted for a vertical cut, allowing them to bypass the obstacle with ease without having to remove a significant amount of solid stone. This clever planning may explain why the robbers chose this specific location. However, further investigations are still needed regarding the nature of the bedrock in this area, as it may provide additional clues about its height and how it was integrated into the overall design of the pyramid. At the southern end of the passage ceiling, we find a Torus molding carved into the granite, one of the architectural details that was not thoroughly documented in the works of Perring or Maraggiolio and Rinaldi. However, archaeologist Flinders Petrie provided a small sketch of this feature, sparking debate about its purpose. There are several interpretations of this Torus decoration. According to Maraggiolio and Rinaldi, it may have a spiritual significance, as it was not meant to be seen once the pyramid was sealed, suggesting a religious or symbolic function within the funerary context. This decoration could serve as an element that enhances the sanctity of the passage, guiding the king's soul to the afterlife. There is also a practical possibility related to the function of this Torus decoration, as it may have been intended to remove the sharp edge of the first granite ceiling block at the transition point from the inclined to the horizontal position. If there were issues with fitting the granite blocks, this decoration might simply be a structural adjustment to relieve any stresses or cracks caused by the load. The torus shape could be part of an engineering technique to distribute loads more evenly at the junction between inclined and flat surfaces. Beyond the torus, we find the portcullis, whose primary purpose was to secure the passage and prevent entry after the final sealing. According to Petrie's measurements, the width of the side grooves is 39.3 centimeters, while the portcullis itself appears to be half an inch thinner, allowing it to move within the grooves. The masonry extends 8.61 meters south beyond the portcullis and is made of limestone, even though the floor of the horizontal passage consists of bedrock. This raises an important question. Why wasn't the portcullis anchored directly into the rock? There are two main possibilities. One, the engineers may have needed space behind the portcullis to facilitate construction work. Two, the bedrock in this area might have been weak or contained a natural cavity, requiring limestone reinforcement, similar to the cave discovered inside Khufu's pyramid. Through our analysis of the upper entrance of Khafre's pyramid, we uncover an astonishing level of architectural planning and precision. From the portcullis to the Torus molding, from the massive granite blocks to the techniques used for lining and support, every element appears to have been carefully designed, whether for functional, security, or even symbolic purposes. Yet, many questions remain unanswered. Why was there a variation in the use of limestone and bedrock? And were these passages merely access routes, or did they hold deeper meanings within ancient Egyptian beliefs? But this is just one piece of the puzzle. In the next video, we'll descend into the depths of the pyramid to explore the lower entrance, a mysterious passage that may hold new clues about Khafre's design. Was it the true entrance to the pyramid? What secrets does it conceal? Don't miss the next episode as we uncover more mysteries of this great monument. Thank you for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with new content. See you soon.